You are listening to the 5 a.m. podcast, and today is your day. Welcome to another enlightening episode of the 5 a.m. podcast. Today, we are joined by a true pioneer in what I like to call automated intelligence, accessible to everyone. As the founder of the Waters Institute and author of The White Collar Guide to AI Survival, Elroy has made it his mission to empower 1 million people to harness the transformative power of AI responsibly. Elroy is a husband, a father of two. He's a dedicated man of faith. And with all of this, his journey from tech sales professional to becoming a sought after AI expert is a story that I know you will find inspiring. Now, through his pioneering AI Mindedness framework, he's helping working professionals not just survive, but thrive in our rapidly evolving technological landscape. The Waters Institute is revolutionizing how businesses and everyday people engage with artificial intelligence, also known in our house as automated intelligence, ensuring that all voices, not just the technical ones, shape the future of technology. And now, of course, a warm welcome to you as you listen and watch wherever that might be. Please consider sharing this with 3 of your friends. I know that many are going to enjoy this conversation. A big thanks to those that have given a 5-star review on your favorite podcast player. And of course, thanks to our friends that have ventured over to buymeacoffee.com/5am podcast and supported the show with a few of those delicious cups of virtual coffee this week and last. And of course, welcome to our radio friends listening on WDJY FM in Atlanta and in Denver on 89.3 and 92.9 FM. We do appreciate all levels of support. Thanks for being here today. And Elroy Waters, welcome to the 5 a.m. podcast.
Thanks, Michael. I'm glad to be here. Been looking forward to the conversation. So thank you.
Yes, me too. We got to start out with your book,
Sure.
The White Collar Guide to AI Survival. I like that. I think there was a show called, was it White Collar? I don't know. Something like that.
Probably.
It was some sort of, the thief and the officer have to work together. It was something like that. Doesn't matter. There it goes. My first rabbit trail of the day. That did not take long at all. But, throwing those fish hooks into the weeds, why not? There's probably some bass in there.
There's something over there.
That's right. So your book was released March 31st of this year. What was that pivotal moment that inspired you to write the book? And how do you think it differs from other AI guidebooks on the market?
Wow. Oh, gosh, I love this question. I wish I could talk about the book more. So this is great. So I was at So the employer that I had at the time, they had flown me out to a learning technology conference. And I was taking part in some of the pre-conference workshops. And one of them was everything at the intersection of learning design and AI. And I was just a participant, was asking questions. And a lady came up to me in the lobby. And she came up to me, she was like, "Oh my gosh, like, you know everything about AI." And I was like, "No, I don't. I don't at all. Not even close. Like, not even close." But I say all that to say that was kind of like my moment where I was like, holy crap, like people are viewing me as if I have some sort of like expertise or authority over here. And then it just kind of started to get my wheels turning because I thought to myself, I was like, well, if I have this AI knowledge and this organization hired me because of my AI skills.
Yes.
Where do I have the right to win? Like, where can I help the most people? And I was like, well, people are struggling in the job market right now. And the differentiating factor between myself and over 1,000 other candidates for the role that I had was my AI expertise, the ability to source, vet, find, and help an organization adopt AI tools for whatever it is that they're working on. And then that is where the idea for the White Collar Guide to AI Survival was born. And where does it differ? Because I'm not a Silicon Valley tech guru. I'm not a billionaire. I don't have a PhD in this stuff. I am strictly just somebody who encountered this technology and thought critically and realized what this would mean for the future of my kids, my daughter, my son. And I was like, if I want to give them a shot, I need to know what this technology is. And so since that moment, which was months before that event I mentioned, I was just studying and studying and studying and studying just out of passion, but also the sense of duty. And so the White Collar Guide is written by a job seeker for job seekers. It teaches people from square one who have absolutely no technical background and no AI background at all how to acquire what I call AI mindedness, the mindset, the heart set, and the skill set necessary to thrive no matter what the technology does. And the last thing I think that differentiates the book, other than that it's written from someone who's in the trenches, is the fact that it's very digestible. Each chapter, if your listeners are familiar with daily devotionals, it's very similar. You walk through maybe like a personal story or something around a core teaching. And then
Gotcha.
at the end, there's something applicable that you actually have to do, and they all build.
Wow.
And so I tell people, if you just recently got laid off and you need something that you can do over the next 30 days, check
Yes.
out this book. And that's what it's about. Yeah, and
Wow,
that's where it came from.
that's so helpful.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing my rabbit trail ideas were thinking of as we were talking, and I was asking you about your book was I'm a huge fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
Sure.
and I was thinking about the Vogon and their terrible poetry, and yet they were intent on destroying the world. So I don't think that AI probably has pretty good poetry, and
Decent.
hopefully it needs to read a lot of it. It's like that whole learning thing. So if we wanted AI to have better poetry, is that possible?
I mean, it would have to be trained on, at least with machine learning. I mean, it would have to be trained on what a bunch of humans consider to be good.
Right.
But I think therein lies and then you would have to attribute, ideally, right? Because now
Yes.
we know about attribution and copyright and stuff, but
Yeah.
ideally those poets would be compensated in some way, unless the AI was only trained on public domain stuff, but then all the stuff it spit out would sound very old.
Yeah.
And so it's possible, but I think there's the attribution copyright thing in there that we still have to figure out. I don't think anybody's figured that one out yet.
Right. And so the reason I was asking you about that and thinking of the Vogons and their poetry was particularly terrible to
Yep.
the human ear. And AI has to be taught. And so in all of this, you had mentioned about your children interacting with AI. What in that perfect world or this developing world, how do you think this is something valuable for that younger generation?
Boy, gosh, that's a good question. Man, okay, so I have theories,
Okay.
but I think just to keep it like super straightforward, sort of like how, .com, everybody's getting online, and whether or not you're going to be marketable in the job market is going to have something in some way, shape, or form to have to deal with computers and being on the internet. It's very much the same thing now, because the largest organizations out there, venture capital dollars, everybody's focused on creating, developing, and adopting artificial intelligence technology. And so the future is, and I talk about this at the end of the book, AI technology is fascinating, but what's really fascinating is thinking about the integrations. AI plus, gosh, what's a good one? AI plus synthetic engineering or biological
Okay.
engineering, genetic engineering, things of that nature. AI and quantum computing, right? There's a whole bunch of other disruptive technologies that are out there right now. AI and blockchain, for example.
Right.
And so the ability, and some people call it AI literacy or being AI first. I call it being AI minded because I'm human first.
Yes.
But I say all that to say that this is how you're going to give your kids a leg up.
Okay, no, that's good. Thanks for watching the show. Just a reminder that you can get all of our resources, other episodes, and read our blog posts at 5ampodcast.com. Turn everyday teaching moments into a valuable lesson about long-term wealth preservation. Gold prices have historically risen during economic uncertainty. The time is now. Visit mindstandgold.com. Definitely buying your book
Thank
this
you.
afternoon. I need to, because I use it a fair amount. One of the things that we do is I get it to create a lot of images to use as viz, or as we would call it, or B-roll back in the day. It's fascinating. Actually, one of the streams for 5am podcast is I want to be able to turn some of this AI created artwork into NFTs,
Wow.
which I thought would be a great idea because there's some pretty good images
Absolutely.
that come out of AI, and I want to get to that, but I need to stay on course,
Sure.
and I got to ask
I
you
had to
about
reel myself in too.
yes, yeah, totally. I sometimes you want to say tell it like it is, and sometimes it's gonna be, for me, I'm pulling on the reins. I really need that bridle
Bridal.
sometimes that James talks about in the good book. But I want to ask you about the AI mindedness framework. And so you have three pillars: that AI sourcing and learning, utilizing AI at will, and this ethical thinking. Could you walk us through these pillars
Mhm.
and how these pillars work together to maybe transform somebody's professional trajectory?
Absolutely. Okay. So all of this was based on data that was found in the Microsoft Work Trend Index in 2024. And it was
Okay.
all about, of course, AI and the future of the job market and employment. And so one of those data points, I'm gotta, because it's been a minute, think it was 70% or a little over that of hiring managers would be more inclined to hire somebody who had less professional experience but had AI aptitude as it
Okay.
related to their profession than
Really?
somebody who perhaps has a PhD or years of experience but has no AI aptitude. And so when I looked at, because I got hired for my job, which was a content developer role for a learning and development department at a really large nonprofit. So the job description said help us make more videos. But later on in the middle of the hiring process, the AI thing came up and I was like, wow, well this is, as you would say, divine intervention, because
Mm-hmm.
I've been helping my friends, my other friends who are business owners, myself leverage this technology. And so when my hiring manager, who's now a great friend of mine, she told me, she was like, you know what, we picked you over a little over 1,000 other people because of the fact that you could help us navigate the AI revolution. And that's what got me to start thinking, was like, well shoot, like what is it about how I was able to approach and position and market my AI skill set? What was it that made me the guy? And then I was like, well, it's the ability that I can, or it's my ability to source and find these tools. It's my ability to then utilize these tools. I say utilize it at will. I need to know how to use the tool, but then I need to know how to ethically help other people adopt the tool. Because if I help somebody or an organization adopt a tool, but then I don't know, a bunch of people get fired, or
Yeah.
there's a security breach or something like that,
Yeah.
I need to at least know what can be done proactively to mitigate that and help the organization navigate that. And so I think that if people are looking to learn a lot about like coding and all of that stuff, the book is not for them. If you've been using ChatGPT for a really long time, the book is not for you. But if you want a more strategic way
Yeah.
of developing holistically around how to navigate the AI revolution, the book is dynamite for that, because it's so much more than knowing how to use a tool or prompt engineer. It's much deeper than that. Why? It's deeper than that because no other technology in human history has had such an impact on human decision making than artificial intelligence does. And that's what it really comes down to. We don't go to the refrigerator to teach us how to cook something.
Yeah.
You know, we get a human to teach us what to pull out of the fridge, and you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Versus artificial intelligence can tell you what type of fridge to buy, what settings to put the fridge at so that you can have the best chocolate milk every single,
Yes.
Sunday at 7 a.m., right?
Yeah.
It's different. And so that's why I coined it AI mindedness, because when I did a lot of reflecting, wasn't just about AI first didn't speak to me, because like I said, I'm human first.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not literacy either, because literacy is familiarity with terms, the
Right.
ability to use terms, but it's deeper than that. And so that's why I coined it AI mindedness. And so, yes, where do I go and how do I find those tools? Number one. Number two, how do I actually use those tools and how can I be proficient enough in those tools so I can use them whenever somebody comes and asks me to do a thing? And then, last but certainly not least, what are the main ethical dilemmas that this tool presents itself? And I teach people in the book how to navigate and acquire and then market and position all three of those skills.
Wow. That's powerful.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
that's really impressive and also important because it's just so much a part. It's becoming so much a part of so many people's lives. I know we use our little Claude model every day, just
Yeah.
asking it different questions,
Yep.
doing some research. Boy, oh boy, it's like a one of the things I've actually been starting to do with it is ask it, okay, you've done this for me. You did this research. How much time did you save me doing this? and it'll actually give me a range. Yesterday was a holiday here in Canada, and the it was getting I was getting it to do some stuff for me, and it did this little task. And I said, "How much time did you save me?" And it said estimated it saved me 4 to 6 hours
There you
of
go.
work.
There you go.
And there's so many things, between my wife Susan and I operating and building 5 a.m. podcast. We
Yes,
need those assistants, and it's been
absolutely.
so powerful for us. I'm going to ask you though. I'm going to like just call an audible. I'm going to ask you about crypto trading because it's a popular thing. There's a lot of platforms around,
Sure.
and so is
Crypto is not my expertise at all,
no,
so
that's
I'll
good.
try my
So
best.
no, I'm not going to ask you specifically about the crypto trading, but in your mind, or cryptocurrency, I should say, in your mind, is AI already being used maybe to write software or to create bots to trade?
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of I actually have somebody who I'm working with right now on the creation of a trading bot and
Is
helping
that
them.
right?
Yep, and helping them navigate that whole process. Yeah. And they are the second person that has come up to me
Is
and
that
asked me to
right?
do that. And
Wow.
yeah. And so because everybody I'm just gonna call it what it is. And my friend, he'd be like, no, I get it. That's why I want it. But he said that he wants to wake up in the morning and he wants to, click around
Yeah.
and tell the bot what or what not to do and make a few $1,000s and then go travel somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't we all? You
Don't
know,
we all? It's
right?
true.
Everybody wants the money machine, and there it's not that straightforward,
Yeah.
right?
Thank you for saying that because that's what I was hoping you were going to say. Come on,
You're
brother.
right. It's not the reason why it's not that straightforward is because I mean, you would have to have a crystal ball in order to predict what
Yes,
markets are going to do. We
totally.
sort of have that with the word. We know where things are headed, but it's
Yeah.
like all the stuff in the middle, we have no idea.
Correct.
And so, what people are doing is they'll usually have a great deal of knowledge in day trading or some
Yes.
sort of asset management and trading, right? So they'd be like a crypto expert, but they're not an AI expert. They're not a machine
Yes.
learning engineer, data scientist, and so they have specific types of I think they call them a quant programmer. But
Okay.
there's programmers who specialize in building these bots,
Yes.
and so they're the people who basically will take your strategy, code it, codify it, develop it, whatever you'd say, into that bot, and then you'd work with that person, periodically for updates and things of that nature. But yeah, you train the bot on your strategy, and then the bot runs your strategy with your supervision. And
Right.
honestly, I would argue that that model right there is what we're going to be seeing in a lot of different industries. It's not going to be people doing tasks, it's going to be people managing the
Right.
robots that are doing the tasks.
Yeah, there really is no get rich quick scheme.
Unfortunately.
Yes, it still requires that work, but we're we're made to be creative beings. So we're made to create. We're made to be busy. We're made to use our brain to innovate and to hustle and to bring value to other people.
Yep, be fruitful, multiply, and love
Yeah,
God and love others.
that's
So,
right. And
yeah,
so perhaps we could say maybe it's a force multiplier.
I definitely would agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I want to ask you about the Waters Institute.
yeah,
It operates in the realms of the online world with no physical headquarters,
no
kind of
headquarters.
like a virtual bat cave.
I don't know how people are doing brick and mortar. Stuff is so
Yes,
expensive.
totally. I mean, we don't. What does rent cost you for a storefront on
Right, right,
different things?
exactly.
And I certainly know, like our online shopping experience is probably, it's on that spectrum somewhere. But even for the 5 a.m. podcast, that's something that we're constantly reminding ourselves that, man, that shopping center is on the web. It's not down our main street.
Exactly.
Um, and what I wanted to ask you though about is what strategic advantages has this digital first approach provided for you? And then how does it reflect your vision for AI education?
Okay. So, other than the obvious advantage of I don't have to pay rent and I
Yes.
don't have to clean and do all those things. For me, digitization, the fancy word is democratization, but it's
Yes.
really for me about access. And so what I would call it, I guess the main value or the main offer that the Institute offers right now, and a shameless plug, but
Yes, do it.
it's a thank you. It's a $25 a month community for dreamers and solopreneurs. Why? Because like you said, it is that force multiplier. And so
Yes.
because the trend is the 9 to 5 is getting faded out, and I have a whole thought and theories on that. But because 9 to 5s are going away and the trends are going to be people having multiple types of like tens or side
Mm-hmm.
streams or hustles, whatever,
Yep.
then it's like, okay, how can we use AI and work together in a community on using AI to help us now accomplish and do those things that, to your point, would have taken us hours and hours and hours to
Yes.
think through. And
Yes.
so for me, it's if I do this online, we can reach wider. I
Yeah.
can charge less so I can help more people. I think it's really that it's that simple. It's about access and affordability for me. And then plus, I don't if I was the AI dude and I and I didn't do something on the internet,
Yes.
that would be really weird.
Yeah, it would. It would.
Yeah.
Totally.
Now, and as far as the future of education goes, I think the main value add, and gosh, wow, I guess we can go there. I had the okay, I'm gonna back up. So the main value add that I see AI providing education is around the personalization front. And if
Yeah.
you go and you ask any instructional designer, like the folks that I work with, they'll tell you the same thing. They're focused on how they can take their hallmark learning offerings, but then have them be tailored to that specific learner where they're at, right now in their journey.
Yes.
Maybe they get to skip through something that they already know, or maybe the order that the
Yeah.
information is presented in changes based on where this person's level of skill is currently at.
Yeah.
And so I personally see, because AI can do that at scale,
Yeah.
one of the problems in the United States that it's primed to tackle head on, I think, is the teacher shortage.
Right.
And so, God bless teachers, because they have one of the hardest jobs, if not the hardest job, and it's underpaid. Let's just call it what it is. And but if in theory, if the teacher can manage an AI agent or some AI as a force multiplier, so that
Yes.
the AI is keyed into the needs of each individual student, which is what students need, that's possible. And I know that there's some schools that have already tried to do that. Yeah.
Wow, it's exciting. So,
Yep.
ladies and gentlemen, as you're listening, we'll let all the people sitting in the car listening on radio opt out of this one, but we'd love to hear from you. So, put something in the comments of what your fears. Are you thinking like the T1000 version coming out of this, or
Yeah.
is it going to be your helper? We'd love to hear from you in the comments. So put something in there, and we would love to hear from you. I've got to ask you, Elroy, about this because we're starting to do some coaching. Of being asked about coaching,
Mhm.
and so my wife and I have been talking about developing this coaching program for 5
Yep.
a.m. podcast and mastermind course. And my idea is to actually have AI generate, let's say, 10 questions, reflective questions to give a potential client who wants to come and get a coaching program from us.
Mhm.
And so then the client actually answers these questions. We load that back into our model and say, give us this 10-week coaching course based on how they've answered this question so that we can best tailor the coaching course and the solutions we give. Is this something that's possible in your mind, or is there something better?
No, I think so what you just described, I've learned is called flipped interaction prompting.
Okay.
It's a very fancy term, but, and I'd been doing it for over a year, but then I went to that conference and the lady
Okay.
said it's called flipped interaction. I was like, oh, I'm going to steal that. Flipped
Yeah.
interaction.
Good. I love it.
Right, because a lot of times people worry about like, well, how do I prompt this thing to get
Mm-hmm.
exactly what I want? But it's a lot wiser to ask it to give
Yes.
you those questions, because now it's telling you what it needs to know in order
Yeah.
to give you personalized feedback.
Exactly.
And that gets
Yeah.
into what we were just talking about, right?
Right.
So that's incredibly wise. And yeah, so if you are doing it in that scenario, you're at least going to get 70, 80% there,
Yeah.
you know?
Right. Thanks for watching the show. Just a reminder that you can get all of our resources, other episodes, and read our blog posts at 5ampodcast.com. Gold prices have historically risen during economic uncertainty. The time is now. Visit mindstandgold.com today and secure your family's future with your first gold purchase. Your children's financial future is too important to delay. Start their golden future at mindstandgold.com. That's one of the things that I've learned is asking it the right questions, or telling me, maybe, is there some information that I can give you that I haven't thought of?
Exactly.
Pretty much every time I put something into our model, I always get it to enhance my prompt. And then I read the prompt to see what I missed. And boy, where would you be without being able to understand actually how to interact with the tool?
Yes.
It's kind of like I picked up a hammer as a 3-year-old and I have no idea. I've seen my pops use it, or a grandpa or somebody else, but I have no idea, and I'm holding it by the claw instead of the handle. And so we need to learn how to use this tool, ladies and
Yep.
gentlemen.
But the hammer's smart enough to tell you how to hold it, which is
I
really
know.
cool.
And so
Yeah.
the hammer says, it's kind of like all of a sudden I've gone into Beauty and the Beast, and it's like one of the, like, the teacup or
Yeah.
the teapot
It's like
saying,
Cogsworth or something.
that's
Yeah.
right. So it's kind of like that form follows function in a sense. And boy, now we have like virtual form and virtual function. And, I think back to some of my design textbooks of, wow, like those were written, I don't know, 60 or 80 years ago. I love the older books, and those principles still work, but I'm going to just jump off to another railway track
Go
here
for it,
for a
please. This is
second.
good. This is
But
really good.
your mission statement mentions empowering 1 million people from all
Yeah.
walks of life.
Yep.
What metrics or milestones have you established to maybe track progress to this ambitious goal?
I love that. So it's gonna scale, right?
Yes, yes,
As Lord willing, as
yes.
influence and all that stuff allows. But right now, I'm just more or less keeping the tick mark tally of
Okay,
all the
good.
interactions that I'm having with people, right? And so, but yeah, I view that if I get out and I'm doing a speaking engagement, or if somebody reads my book,
Yeah,
or if people sign up for the community, I would view that as how I'm actually able to help people through education. And so,
right.
because all of those, right? So if you join the community, everybody gets the AI Mindedness Framework course,
Wow.
and all the
Okay,
other courses I'll be doing for free.
nice.
But because I'm teaching that framework, and because a lot of the framework is about responsible, ethical usage, then that's why I would consider that a win, because I know at least they have that information.
Right.
Whether they're doing something with it or not, like I said, I'm gonna have to scale up
Yes,
my assessment, but it's very
it's good.
basic right now.
Yeah. No, that's great. And
Yeah.
it's good to have those goals. That's one of the things that we talk about here, is having the goals. And if we don't write it down and we don't make it plain, we can't run with that vision.
Yes.
And we need to. We need to be able to be swift of
Yeah.
foot. And I think of the shoes that Jack Black's character made in the Minecraft movie. Hopefully, that's not a
Mhm.
copyright infringement right there. But
Hopefully not.
maybe they're yellow shoes instead of another color, and
Right.
the wings might look a little different, or maybe they've got little jet engines instead of wings,
I
because
love it.
wings are
Jet engines would
extra.
be really cool.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Maybe that'll be in the sequel.
Mhm.
So you've mentioned that your book offers a hidden pathway to a true economic empowerment beyond just in career advancement. Could you elaborate on how mastering these AI skills can translate to entrepreneurial success?
I love this question so much. Man, I love this question. So it actually came about a little midway through writing the book,
Okay.
where I realized, I was like, oh my goodness, like all of the skills that I used to get this awesome job, they're the
Yeah.
same skills that I use and rely on every single day as an entrepreneur. Because if you're viewing yourself as the product, right? It's a
Yeah.
job market. You are the product selling yourself to get the job. The way that I've structured the lessons, the learning, I call them missions to keep it
Okay.
fun in the book. You learn how to market yourself, how to create a portfolio so that you can actually show off that AI expertise. And so
Wow.
I I'm mention it towards the end of the book, but I'm like, hey reader, FYI, you have a pretty solid grasp on entrepreneurship, go to market strategy, and product development by virtue of
Mhm.
developing yourself and putting yourself out there the way that you've just done it through the book. And so and I talk about this in the section on job security a lot. True security is diversification. So if you're relying on just your job for income, and I know you already know this, I'm saying it for the sake of the listener,
Yes.
then you are putting yourself at a disadvantage. And so I say, hey, listener, reach out because we have other resources like our community to help you get that big vision or dream or idea that you have off the
Yeah.
ground with AI, because we really want to help people. And the belief we have is that people are going to be more responsible users of this technology by applying the technology to the stuff that they really want to do, that they really care about. And so, yeah. So I say all that to say, by by developing yourself and marketing yourself and putting yourself out there, you're basically going to do more or less the same thing, but on your vision now. Because the question is like, well, if you can stand out in a crowded job market, you can release a product that sells.
Yes.
I would argue the product might be a little bit easier if you think about it, because the job market that can be tough, especially
Mhm.
nowadays.
Totally.
So yeah.
That's great. So how can people get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So watersinstitute.ai, scroll to the bottom of the page. All of our socials are linked there. If you're interested in the community, if you have a dream, if you want to scale something that you're currently operating just on you're solopreneur, team of one, community.watersinstitute.ai. We are just launching that. So there's a handful of people in there already, but yeah, we would love to be your digital home base for anything and everything AI, to help you with your dream, help you sort through any fears or phobias you have around AI or anything like that. We want that to be your digital home base. So check us out there.
And that was community.waters.
Yeah, community.watersinstitute.
Sorry, I cut you off. What else were you going to say?
No, that was the
Okay.
main thing. And then of course, contact information is in the book if you want to purchase the book, the
Yes.
White Collar Guide to AI Survival.
That's good. Good. So another question for you then is, as a man of faith and an advocate of technology,
Amen.
how do you reconcile those spiritual values with this rapid advancement, or what seems like rapid advancement of
Man,
artificial intelligence?
we should do an episode that's all about like
Okay.
faith, theology, and AI. I would love to do
Love.
that.
Love it.
But basically, the way that so the Apostle Paul talks a lot about this, right? In terms of one person's conscience says they can or can't eat meat
Yes.
or vegetables or what have you. And so all things are permissible, but not all things are
Hmm.
beneficial, right?
Yes.
And so, and I guess the last thing I'll say is, a lot of times it's not necessarily technology that's the problem. It's our lack of wisdom and how we approach and utilize the technology.
Hmm.
And so, more or less, that's how I reconcile it. I need to ensure that I am spending time with God in the Word through service to others and prayer. And my faith is that if I'm spending time with Him, then He will rub off on me, and then I'll be more wise and equipped to utilize His
Right.
technology. But if somebody wanted something more practical, I personally believe that the Word is intrinsically powerful.
Hmm.
And so I put Jesus Christ is Lord to the glory of God the Father in the custom instructions on my chat GPT. And so people are like, man, your chat's giving you like really good. Like, I'm like, yeah, well, I put the word in my custom instruction
That's
just because
great.
I want to make sure that we're aligned, at least in, you know what I'm saying? I want to make
Yes.
sure as much alignment exists there as possible. It's very, very key.
Yes. And I liked what you were saying too about the streams of income, those different things. Maybe before I ask you about that, like here at 5 a.m. podcast, I'm a Christian man doing a podcast, as opposed to a man doing a Christian podcast. I'm just a Christian man using the tools and skills and abilities that the Lord has seen fit to send my way and that I've developed myself. And we need that personal development. And sometimes we get the refiner's fire that burns off the dross, so that we're like that pure gold and that purified silver.
Exactly.
Maybe some people feel they're platinum, and that's okay. You can be, but we're going to be purified one way or another. I wanted to ask you then, from someone starting at zero, because you mentioned that person that might lose their job. This is what
Hmm.
happened to me back at the end of October in 24. My position was terminated.
There you go. Yep.
And so then someone starting from zero with AI knowledge, and I've already plugged in the community.watersinstitute.ai. Ladies and gentlemen, he did not ask me to do this, but you get a 7-day free trial.
You absolutely do. I'm actually trying to. I think I'm going to increase that to 30 days, just because I
Cool.
want people to. I want to get more people in.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm going to increase that to 30 days. Actually, thank you for. I'll do that as
Nice.
soon as we get out. It'll be a
Okay.
30-day free trial for all the listeners out there.
Oh, super. Super. So then I'm just going to refresh my browser until it says 30
Yeah,
though.
yeah. But I'll let you know once. I'll do it as soon as we get off.
Yeah, shoot me a message or a text or something.
For
But
sure.
okay, so back to the I gotta pull my hook out of the weeds again, but that's okay. That was a good one. That was like a 4 or 5 pound bass right there that we pulled out. For someone that is starting from zero in AI knowledge today, what would you recommend be the first, let's say, 3 steps for beginning a meaningful level of competency?
Okay. All right. So if you are an absolute beginner and you need a job, buy my book. And that's not, I'm not even trying to be like shameless plug, but buy my book, because that book is literally written for you. You are my ideal person. If you don't need a job and you are just looking to learn AI because you're fascinated and this is really cool and I want to learn about AI stuff, I think the best way to learn AI is through actually getting hands-on with it. And so I would always recommend, I think fun is the superpower. If you look
Yeah.
back in your life, the things that you've done consistently without needing to be asked a bunch of times to do them is the fun stuff. The video games, the movies, the time with loved ones, whatever. If you go to a website, TAAFT.com, that's an acronym, stands for There's an AI for that. It's an AI aggregator.
Okay.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of generative AI tools are in that database. If you create an account, they can send you a personalized, curated list of AI tools that are in your hobbies, passions, interests, goals as often as you want, daily, monthly, whatever. That being said, if you are somebody who's completely a beginner to AI or you want to level up with AI, and you want to do that in a community of people, join my community.
Yes.
The community it's 25 bucks a month. I did my best to make it super super affordable and accessible. We're still building it out, but it's going to be awesome. It's our main thing. Not only the community of people, not only me going live every single month with the latest trends, technological advancements, and policy and governance stuff, so that you all don't have to stay on top of that stuff, but we're building out a list of a template library. So if
Right.
you want AI to automate social media posts, you'll just be able to download it and plug in your accounts. You're good to go. We're going to build out agent library as well. If you want the AI to do next level tasks, just download the agent. You're good to go. So 2 shameless plugs in there, but
Good.
a third one that's not me, go to TAAFT.com and plug in your information and play with one of those tools. You'll learn a lot about AI just by virtue of having fun with it as it relates to your passions, interests, and goals.
Man, that's so good. So good. I feel like we should all be paying you for this almost hour conversation.
That makes me feel so good. Like if I could over deliver, I'm like, yes, it's
Yeah.
working.
You ticked a lot of boxes and then brought a few boxes yourself to tick.
Right
So
on, right on.
it's like going to the church potluck or picnic and finding out that grandma whoever brought her famous dish and no one has seen it yet.
Grandma got the best kept secret back here. Yeah, yeah, for
That's
sure.
good. Okay, so for professionals who maybe they fear being replaced by the AI,
Yep.
how do you address that anxiety while still advocating for greater AI adoption?
I love that. That's actually the book is all about that. There's
Good.
24 and some odd million people who have that fear right now. And so those people, it's kind of weird. I don't know how to better say it other than that. We all know how important computers are, computers and
Mhm.
the internet are. And so it, if computers are invented and everybody's talking about computers, then you should know a thing or two about computers if you want to be employed by people who care about computers. And
Yeah,
everybody cares about computers because we all use them and need them, at least in, developed world. And so it's the same thing with AI. I think, and I have a whole section in the book on fear and addressing that fear. But I say all that to say fear, at least in my personal experience, feeds a lot on the unknown. The more familiarity you have with something, usually the less fearful you are because you have a more grounded, backed
yeah,
by data view on what it is that is the source of your fear.
yeah.
So yeah, familiarity and exposure are really the only things that are going to help assuage that fear.
Right. That's good.
It's the same thing with AI.
Right.
hmm
Okay, so then looking ahead to 2030,
Mhm.
and we've been trained that there's this guy, John Connor,
Mhm.
JC, that might come along and help us out with his time travel and his foreknowledge and all that good
Sure,
stuff.
sure.
So we won't get into time travel, but I do, but looking ahead to, let's say, 5 to 10 years down the road, what ethical challenges maybe around AI do you believe will become most pressing? And is there something that we need to be thinking about now to mitigate in the, let's say, 5 to 10 year
Man,
window?
you asked the best questions, dude. These are great. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Man, okay, I'm gonna write these down. What do you want to talk about? Go listen to the 5 a.m. podcast. This dude asked all the best questions that I wish every single person would ask. Okay, so the main okay, and this might be a little out here, so I'm gonna start out here,
Yes.
but then I'm gonna bring it down. Okay,
Start the
so
funnel.
yes, okay. The main ethical dilemma that we are going to encounter, already encountering it, and tech can't figure it out because
Okay.
newsflash, this is not a tech problem. And I'll tell people this before I get into it. All of your
Okay.
problems with AI, those are not tech problems. Those are human problems. I'll give you an example. The main problem with AI that we need to address is value alignment. I'm gonna bring it down home.
Okay.
The smarter these machines get, the more capable they're going to be of performing what we would consider to be next level tasks. These are tasks that require a lot of decision making capability and looking at the environment and assessing what is and isn't relevant and things of that nature to make judgment calls on complex issues. Okay, and so it's going to be very difficult to have an AI function in a society that is divided on basically everything. Why? Because that AI is going to need to have beliefs on gender, on marriage, on war. The AI is going to need to have a belief or a stance on Israel versus Palestine, for example. And so there's a few things that the tech world is experimenting with to try and help with value alignment, which is just a fancy term of like, well, what happens when the AI needs to do something, but people don't agree on it? One of them is like RAG, retrieval augmented generation, which is
Okay.
basically like, hey, chat, or AI reference this book or this body of knowledge in order to make all your decisions. But that doesn't work. Why? Because who gets to decide what the source of truth is? Who gets to change the source of truth? It's the same who gets to. There's another one where it's basically another way that big tech has tried to help with value alignment is basically if there's two parties or if there's two groups of people, it tries to work with each side to get them as close to like more or less like a 5-star rating as possible. But the problem is well, what happens when those groups or those parties, those people
Yes.
fundamentally disagree?
Yes.
The AI is going to have to take a side or it's going to have to shut down. And so that to me is the biggest problem out there. And the only solution I think that exists isn't necessarily a solution, but it will help. The more people that are using the technology, the more people that are willing to share their experiences, their thoughts, their beliefs on the technology with the people who are developing it,
Yeah.
at least the technology that exists will be reflective of human values.
Yeah.
Whether it's quote unquote, you already know where I'm going with this, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's right or wrong is another story, but at least we'll have the access and at least we'll have the data and at least we'll have real people in here. And
Right.
that's what the Waters Institute seeks to do. It seeks to
Good.
get everyday people just engage with this thing because the future of everybody that you love is going to be impacted by this thing
Mm-hmm.
whether we like it or not. And so yeah, value alignment is the problem. It is the biggest problem out there.
Wow.
Yep.
So there's a lot of different alignments, and I know I really should be wrapping this up, but I just have so many questions. We might have to have a part 4 and 5. But
Yes.
I'm thinking of, those movies or those maybe some of those reality shows where the guy's got the earpiece in
Mhm.
and he's being told what to say to people. And then I'm thinking about dating apps, and we know about catfishing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But then there's going to be this someone's in there and they're thinking, I think this this young lady that I'm trying to connect with for a date is really going to like, I don't know, John Wayne because she loves westerns. So please help me make all my responses and statements sound like John Wayne.
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
is
Yeah.
this some of the things that are coming up that maybe people on the receiving end need to be aware of, but also those ethics of when you're creating your persona
Yeah.
of using AI, but to make you a better person, not a fake person.
Yep. And I think you really kind of hit the nail on the head. It's all of those the value alignment. What's the right way to use this thing? What's the
Yeah.
wrong way to use this thing? That to me is the main issue. Who gets to decide what's right and what's wrong? It's the same problem that we've been having for the past however many years, okay?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so yeah, no, if that is not already a problem, I would be very
Uh-huh.
surprised. Because I'll tell you what, if I was single, I would be doing the same thing right now, man. I would be like, oh
Yes.
my gosh, I'm just going to screenshot this lady's profile.
Uh-huh.
What are the gaps between my current experience and what she's
There
looking
you
for?
go.
Is that ethical or is that romantic? I mean, you tell me. It all depends on the person.
Yes.
But I talk about this in the book actually. There's a whole section that's just dedicated to everything that's just not AI related but is AI related, and I talk about how you can use AI to enhance your personal relationships, whether it's like with a loved one or a friend. And so I talk about how I was dealing with a lot of constraints, but I wanted to celebrate my wife because she had just been helping me through a really difficult time, the time period right before I got that really awesome life-changing job. I was overworked, underpaid, super stressed. It was terrible. And she was just holding me down, helping me keep my peace, keeping me grounded in the faith, all that good stuff. Like help me level 9,000. But I was like, but we're limited on funds and we have, two kids under 4 and. And so I threw all of those constraints, all of those challenges into AI. And I said, hey, I need an awesome date night idea. Ask me some questions, but these are the constraints.
Yeah.
Also, here's my wife's Myers Briggs. I don't know if you're
Yeah.
you're right, but I threw that in there too. Because I was like, I don't just want this to be something that's constraints based. I want it to be based on what my wife loves and cares about and also who
Okay.
she is.
Wow.
And it came up with the best date night idea ever. It was basically recreating the moment that I fell in love with her. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best idea ever." I didn't tell my wife it was AI generated until after the fact. But by the time that it was after the fact, she didn't even care because it's like I still had to go in and first of all, I had to say, "Yes, that's a good idea." And then I had to go execute on everything. The AI is not cooking the food, it's not curating the experience, it's not lighting the candles, it's not doing any of that stuff, but
Yeah.
it is helping me weigh and judge and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Bring all of these elements together in a cohesive vision. And so the AI is not just something that you can use for, like you said, force multiplier.
Hmm.
Whatever it is that you care about, I promise you there is a way to use the tools that exist today to make it super, super crunchy and spicy.
Awesome. So it's Alfred Pennyworth, not Batman himself. It's a servant and a tool.
There you go. Exactly. It's
Yes.
Alfred. It's not Batman. It's Alfred. It may be Batman one day, but right now it's Alfred, and we like Alfred a lot.
We sure do. Who are we going to get out of life without those really important roles? Or I guess Pepper Potts too, if you
Pepper
want.
Potts to Iron Man. Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Elroy, I can't say thank you. Well, I probably could say thank you enough, but thank you so much for being here. This was just a blast.
Thank you for having me on. I'm not even lying you. These were like the best questions
Oh,
ever. This is why you're on the radio and TV and stuff. Like
thank you.
awesome stuff, Michael. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much for
so
having
much.
me.
I appreciate that. What a delight. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. What I did not dox Elroy because it's a big place, but what a great conversation. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here, for listening in. Please check out watersinstitute.ai and then also the community.watersinstitute.ai.
Thank
I
you.
mean, if you thought this was a great conversation, get over there because it'll be better. And there's going to be that 30-day free trial that's coming up.
Yep. I'm gonna do that as soon as we get off. I promise. Yep.
That's awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you being here, listening in on the conversation. If you haven't already, please help us grow 5am podcast with a like, a subscribe, and a share. Ask AI how best to support 5am podcast,
There you go.
and it'll help you out with that. Friends, we do appreciate you being here. please give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast player. And of course, got to mention those friends that ventured over to buymeacoffee.com/5am podcast for those delicious virtual cups of coffee. We appreciate all your support. Make sure to seize your day. Enjoy those sunrises and sunsets and all your adventures in between. I'm Michael Klassen. Thanks for watching the show. Just a reminder that you can get all of our resources, other episodes, and read our blog posts at 5ampodcast.com. Turn everyday teaching moments into a valuable lesson about long-term wealth preservation. Gold prices have historically risen during economic uncertainty. The time is now. Visit mindstandgold.com today and secure your family's future with your first gold purchase. Your children's financial future is too important to delay. Start their golden future at mindstandgold.com.